And we are live. Welcome to Glamorous Closet, guys. Hi, good morning. It is 1 a.m. on November 3rd in Central Daylight Time, and I am officially 53 today. And I'm very comfortable with that, much more than I was with 52, and certainly much more than I was with 51. The past year, wow, it has been a year. About this time last year, I was recovering from an episode that put me in the hospital for a few days in a psych ward, and that was weird. There's no way to describe it. It's just weird. I don't remember much of it. I was pretty heavily medicated. And then when I came out, I had been through so many doctors and so much medicine and all of this stuff. It just, while I was in there, and I came out with a diagnosis that frankly was, 5 decades in the making. It was kind of a relief and a revelation, the revelation that there was something wrong with me that I had suspected there was for pretty much most of my life. So it was kind of a relief to have a name to what it was, and to have a path ahead of me where I could learn, how to deal with it and how to handle, how to manage things. And I don't want to use, every $20 corporate mental health word that they have. But it started a journey for me that was, that, I'm still on. I'll probably be on for the rest of my life. But it was the first time in my life I'd ever gone to group therapy, which is weird, guys. The cool thing was that there were people there who were much, much worse than I was. So it was also a sort of a happiness to learn that I actually had one of the most high functioning cases of this. So I was incredibly high functioning in that way, which is good. And it was also at the same time kind of a relief to hear other people mention some of the things that I had gone through and some of the things that I had experienced and felt and done, and that I wasn't alone in this. I wasn't alone, that there were, there were extreme highs, extreme lows, extreme, everything. And so that started my my mental health, getting that right. So what I believed was a midlife crisis actually turned into, they say at a certain age, you're like, the way that you cope with the world, your mechanisms will start to fail one by one. And so that was what happened. And thank God for it. Thank God for it. It was rough at the time. It's there. I still have rough spots. But in general, now that I know knowledge is such power, and you can walk forward with a clear head and go, okay, this is what's happening. This is how I deal with it. I've learned all sorts of different ways of dealing with certain things, dealing with, life stressors or, abandonment issues, or, there's like a laundry list, guys. So that was a rough patch for me. November, December, and I made it past the holidays, and I was beginning to really buckle down, do the work, and actually feel mentally healthy. And then right after, guys, right after New Year's, in early January, like the first week of January, I was running a fever and doubled over with abdominal pain, and I told my husband, I'm like, something's not right. I probably need to get to the hospital. So he took me to the hospital, and sure enough, by then I was just like really, I mean, it escalated pretty fast. And by then I was just really, really ill. And I mean, really ill, like just, just obnoxiously ill in the waiting room. And it took them forever to get me in. And it turned out my appendix was about to burst. So I had emergency surgery the next day, and then 2 to 3 weeks of recovery. And I had already scheduled a trip to Vegas for my friend's wedding. So I went to Vegas on all kinds of pain pills, which was fun. And it was, in the middle of winter. It was sunshine, and it was, a sort of an escape from, everything that I had been through. And it was probably, before I went there, it really was one of my darkest hours. It was just, and when I say hours, I mean like a month. So that was a rough road too, because then I had to, get back into physical recovery. And because I wasn't able to eat until they did the surgery, and they couldn't even give me ice chips. So I was actually denied food for 48 hours. Because it took forever for them to get me into a room at the hospital. And then it took forever for the surgeon to actually show up. Surgeon didn't show up until like 6:00 the next night. So I was without food or even water for like 48 hours, and in extreme pain. And it was just, it was so rough. It was so rough. January turned into February. And in February, I got COVID. Yeah, I came back from Vegas, had a nice week, and then I got COVID. And I had that for a couple of weeks. I was so sick. So it was, the whole year just started off just a struggle. I mean, I was on the struggle bus. But I think it's like, it's like Heinlein said, out of the dark that covers me, black is the pit from pole to pole. I think whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. And the thing that I've really, really loved is no matter how bad it got, no matter how dark the night got, I knew I was still ready to fight. I was still ready to fight. I'm ready to fight for myself, fight for my health, fight for my, for a good mental state, put in the work. And so it has been a very long, slow journey this year. There have been a lot of ups and downs, but I am 110% better than I was this time last year. I feel good. I feel content. And I think people say, oh, I want to be happy. You can't be happy all the time. You can't. Happiness is a dog sunning itself in a rock. You can't really, it's unsustainable to be happy all the time. But if you are generally content with your life, and if you're generally content with what you have and what's in your life, then you will, I think you'll actually, that's the key to happiness. So I also, for the past year, my husband and I, we went through some tough stuff in the past year. We did together. And we've grown incredibly closer and more in love than we have been, in the past few years. We've been a little self-involved. We've always loved each other. There's no question about that. But there's a deep, deep level of romance that I think I thank God for, and I'll catch him looking at me, or I'll look at him, catch me looking at him, and I'm just really, really in love with him, and it's fantastic. My kids are healthy. My life is good. I have enough to eat. Hi, Liv. Hi, good morning. I wasn't sure anybody would be up at 1 a.m. So I have everything that I have ever wanted out of life. I have, and that's good. That's so good. So when my husband asked me what I wanted for my birthday, I said, I don't honestly need a thing. I don't. I have a fantastic family. They're very loving. I have a wonderful, husband and a good marriage. I have friends that are so important and so vital, and just wonderful people, really, truly, truly great people. So 53. I've been on the mental health depression struggle bus my whole life, and now is no exception. My brain does not like fall, winter, but we have to just keep trying and moving forward. That's exactly right. And sometimes it's, sometimes all you want to do is sleep for days and days and days. Sometimes it's very difficult. It can be difficult. If you know where it's coming from, and and you have, things that are outlined, things to do about it, then you can sort of take those steps to help alleviate the symptoms. It doesn't mean that it goes away. It'll never really go away. It's like a cancer of the brain. It just will not go away. It doesn't go away. It doesn't. There's no ultimate cure. But there are ways that you can learn. I think, the therapists that I worked with, and I worked with more than one, and the group that I worked with, and the hospital that I worked with, have been incredible resources to me. They also recommended a guy on YouTube who does videos that are specifically designed to my specific diagnosis. And so and I watch those, and it sort of keeps me, aware, and keeps me sort of in the loop on what's going on. And I don't want to make this sound like it's a sad story. It's not. It's a story of survival. It's a story of, in some ways, it's a story of redemption. When it comes to my marriage, especially, it's a story of redemption. It's a story of coming back together after some rough stuff. It's a story of, the strength of the human spirit. And I think that there is something to be said for going through the tough stuff. There's something to be said for going through the tough stuff. Sometimes when you go through the tough stuff, you come out on the other side just better, so much better than when you walked into it. So much better than when you walked in the fire. You can take some minerals and toss them together, and maybe there's some strength in there. But if you forge it in fire, and and you hit it with the hammer, and you grind it on the wheel, then you have a sharp sword. Then you have something useful and something of value. So I believe, honestly, the very best value is adversity. Sometimes I don't want it all the time. I'm human. I don't want to go through a lot of adversity. Been there, done that. I have the t-shirt. I'm good. Honestly, that's where I've been for the last couple of weeks. I feel like I could sleep forever. Yeah, you're not alone in that lift. You're not alone. I started using my happy light in the morning. I stopped seeing a therapist in March because we didn't click, but I really have to find anyone. Yeah, they have some really great ones online. I just can't recommend therapy enough. And make sure that if you're on medication, make sure that you are taking it religiously. Being off my medication was one of the problems that I had. Turns out I was taking medication for one symptom of the whole. And when I took myself off my medication, that was when everything just went, nuts. So yeah, it was such a crazy ride this past year. It really, really was. And there were some of my darkest days. I mean, just dark days, rough times, rough weeks, a rough month. Some of it was, I went through things with my family that I never thought I would go through, ever. I went through things with my husband that I never thought I would go through. But we all emerged stronger. We all emerged, and it turned out okay. It turned out great, actually. This afternoon, my husband and I went out on a back deck, and I posted a picture on Instagram of it. And the sun was shining, and the weather was just perfectly low 60s, my perfect weather. And we grabbed, he grabbed a beer, and I grabbed a hard apple cider, and we just sat there and just basked in the sunlight and just we're contented and just happily content. Watch the dogs chase each other around the yard. Talk to, bits and pieces about the family and things, what we're doing this weekend and all of that. So what I did was, Cheryl, hello. Thank you so much. Oh, it's your daughter's birthday today too. Oh, mwah. Congratulations and happy birthday to your daughter. Thank you so much, Cheryl. I can't believe even I've even got two people in the chat. Honestly, it's like the middle of the night here. But it's my birthday and I indulge myself, and that is what I'm coming to next. Humor is one of my ways to cope. Love to hear about your contentment, Glam. I honestly live the exposure to sunlight. It helped such a great deal today. And yesterday I was out with my grandbaby. So, so family is one of the ways that I cope. And I'm going out with my family this weekend. I'm excited to go out with my boys and my husband and my kids, and my extended family. We're going to have a blast. And it's not anything big. We're just going to kind of go take over a corner bar and, do what we do. But it's a lot of fun. I made the decision this year to turn off my Poshmark closet until like Monday. I was like, I'm taking a few days off. So I'm not doing any, this is my last YouTube appearance before Monday. So I did not schedule a Sunday brunch for this Sunday. What I wanted was to just take the weekend off and concentrate on indulging myself in, really healthy, good ways. Sort of. Some of it will involve pasta and chocolate. Not so sure that's healthy, but mentally it's healthy. But just kind of indulge myself. Sleep as late as I want. do what I want when I want. That's it. Just, just sort of indulge myself and take a few days to just spoil myself rotten and let others spoil me rotten. You have to kind of, open that. You have to open yourself up to allow other people to, gain joy from bringing you joy sometimes. Sometimes people will bring you joy. She is dealing with a lot mentally at only 21, anxious, depression, ADHD. Needless to say, it attacks my mental state also. It will. As a mother, it's so hard to watch your kid go through stuff like that. Anxiety, depression, ADHD. Yeah, those are there are some illnesses that are multi-symptom illnesses. I would definitely, see if hopefully she'll have, she has a mental health professional that knows what they're doing. But if you feel like she's not being diagnosed correctly or that it's not being dealt with correctly, I would, seriously look at, switching mental health professionals, because sometimes they don't, sometimes you'll get somebody who doesn't know about other things. So yeah, it's been, and there has been a lot of, there has been literally global trauma. The pandemic wasn't just, that wasn't just us. That was everybody on the planet. Think about that. Every single person on the planet was affected by this. Every single one. Every single one. There is such a, there was a planet-wide, separation from each other. And human beings were not meant to be separated from each other. We weren't. We're meant to, we're meant to touch, and we're meant to communicate, and we're meant to, we're meant to hug and be with one another. So it's very, very difficult. This has been a hell of a year. I think without strong faith, I would have checked out by now. Yep. We're going to work on it when she comes home from school. It's been tough. Yeah, it is tough. It is tough. There is literally sometimes mentally every journey feels like you've got 1,000-pound weight on every foot, and every step forward feels like you're about to be pushed 2 steps back again. I get that. I do. It's tough. It's tough. And when you're young and you're trying to get things done and you've got a whole life ahead of you, where you're trying to, study, you're in college, or you're in the military, or you're in, or you're working your way up the ladder somewhere, or you're in a family business, whatever you're doing, or you're trying to start a YouTube channel, or whatever you're doing, as a young person, you're always so much busier, so busy. And you're trying to find, peace and serenity in a swirly, twirly forest of to-do list. It's tough. It's tough. It is. And all I can tell you is that I am there with you. I am there with you. And you definitely have my heart. Yeah. Liv, I'm there with you. You have my heart. Cheryl, I am there with you. You have my heart. And when it's your kid, it's 10 times worse. When it's your kid, it's 10 times worse. Because that really is your heart. That's your flesh and blood. That's your bones. You would do anything in the world to alleviate any amount of suffering for your kids. Most mothers would anyway. And anything to bring them happiness. So yeah, that's rough. And like I said, I didn't mean to bring anybody down. I just sort of, that's been my journey for this year. It's been a journey towards the light, and it's I've had to go through some really, really dark stuff. to get there, but I got there. And I'm doing great. I am doing great. I'm missing a tooth. That happened. I had a tooth that cracked. It cracked off right at the gum line. It's that age where you have more dental work. So I went into the oral surgeon, and they couldn't do a standard cap because it was too close to the gum line. So they actually had to pull the tooth, and then the oral surgeon had to insert a bone and a bone graft. And so my next step is this coming Tuesday. I have to go back to the oral surgeon and make sure that it's healed up correctly, so that I can have a dental implant put in there. But I can't walk around looking like a pumpkin, and I know it's kind of hard to see because I have big old horsey teeth. But it's on the side towards the back, and I feel so self-conscious about it. To me, it feels like I have meth mouth. So that's in the works. And I do need to get healthier. My goal for this year is to get healthier. I need to get dentally healthy. I need to get, I'm fairly mentally healthy. I'd like to get more so. I'd like to learn, and I'm always learning new mechanisms for coping. I'm always learning new actions that I can take and new things that I can do to help offset some of the most severe of the symptoms. And there's a lot that you can do for that. So that's cool. And I'm learning those and putting those into practice a little bit at a time. And it's really, really helped. It's very, very, very helpful. Oh man, dental stuff is the worst. I was supposed to have a cleaning on Halloween, but I canceled because of anxiety. I've done that before. I've canceled a dentist appointment because of anxiety. Except my vanity. I can't take this. I cannot take this. I can't take it. So anyway, I have a dental appointment with the oral surgeon on Tuesday, and then towards the end of November, I actually have a dentist appointment to work on a couple of other teeth back here that need some help. So like I said, you get a little older, and things just start catching up with you. But today I'm going to indulge myself. I bought myself some Lindor truffles, which are my favorite, LINDT Lint. So I got the Lint truffles with the caramel in the middle. Holy crap, they're so good. So I have the best chocolate that I can find. I'm going to my mother's for lunch today. And Aunt Boo is kind enough to be bringing me my favorite fried rice in the whole world. There's a place out of Maplewood that has gravy on theirs, and it's incredible. And I think that's what she's picking up. But either way, she's bringing me, I told her just bring me fried something and cake. So I get to visit with family today, my brother, my sister, and my mom, and my nephews. And then I'm coming home, and probably I'm going to take a nap. And then Grandpa and I are going to go out and have a nice one-on-one date night. So I'm going to have a little gambling, little romance, little fun, little dinner out. Probably what I want? I want a loaded baked potato. That's what I want. I want a loaded baked potato, but I want like a sliced steak on top of it instead of bacon. And maybe a little A1. I don't know. Yeah. I know something is cracked back in my mouth that hurts when I eat, and anxiety of stopping me from making the appointment. I have dental phobia. Yeah. And it's the only side I eat on. Yeah, I think a lot of us have dental phobia, and especially if you grew up in an environment where you didn't go to the dentist all the time, and I don't speak to anybody else's upbringing. I can only tell you my own. And we grew up poor. We're just my parents were country people who moved to the city, had no idea what they were doing. They were great people. They were creative people. They were very cool. And they loved us so much. But there are some things that are normal for suburban kids and on up the social ladder, that are just not normal for poor kids. And one of those is going to the dentist every 4 months. We simply did not do that. The first time I saw a dentist, I was like 9. And that was because WashU had Washington University is near here, and they have a dental school. They have a medical school and a dental school, and their dental school had like a free day for poor people or whatever. And my mom decided to take us all there, and we all had like cavities and all sorts of stuff. I was extremely lucky that I was brought up on city water, so it was heavily fluoridated. But yeah, just like, it sounds ridiculous, but like literally even like daily brushing of the teeth, it just wasn't something that was a big thing when they were growing up, and they had a bunch of kids, and I don't know, long story short, it was dental care was not something that was that well paid attention to until we got older. Until I, moved out and I had my own job, and I had dental insurance, and, I started going to the dentist, and so that was interesting, but, we still deal with that. So yeah, I always had a lot of dental anxiety, because the only time I had been to the dentist, they started drilling and doing crap in my mouth that hurt. That hurt. So yeah. Yeah. So my goal for this coming year is to get my smiles fixed up. It's not a bad smile. It's not like I have, I don't have full on meth mouth, but I do have, some issues, and I need to get those fixed and get them taken care of. I do need to exercise more. And it's not just about losing weight, although I could stand to lose a few pounds. I'm not going to lie. I'm chubbier than I've ever been. But it's more about getting, trying to get my heart healthier, trying to get my resistance, my immune system up, and trying to just, in general, get healthier and not hurt myself when I bend over to brush my teeth. When I pick up my 5-pound grandchild and it hurts. So there are certain things that, that I'm going to be working on this year. And there's no telling what the future is going to hold. There's no telling. Anything can happen at any time to anybody. But I have to run forward and embrace it. I do. Life is too short for me to sit in the corner scared anymore. And life is not getting any longer for me, Maybe if I start jogging. But life is really too short, guys. It's so much shorter. It goes by so much faster than you think it's gonna. It goes by so fast. So maybe if I could impart anything to you, it's just, please take good care of yourself. Spoil yourself when you can, and just enjoy all of the small things. Never forget to stop and enjoy the small things, and just be grateful for every single little good thing in your life. And I'm incredibly grateful for the company that I have in the middle of the night on the first day of my being 53. And I really appreciate you all coming here and spending time with me. Faith, I'm telling, that's what keeps me grounded, and even that is hard sometimes. Absolutely, faith is hard sometimes. That's why I think that's why you get rewarded for faith, because it's hard sometimes, So yeah, life is hard sometimes. Life can be tough. it has been certainly a one heck of a year for me. Um, but with that being said, my journey towards contentment was what doesn't kill us makes us stronger, right? So I feel strong like bull. You got 10 years on me. Wow. Cheryl, you look gorgeous. God, I hope I look as good as you do. 53 and fabulous. I kind of feel it. I kind of feel it. So I'm going to go now, and I will be back probably on Monday. Probably going to pop up live on Monday and need everybody to help me list. And you're carrying that 53 in awesome style. Man, I'm trying. I'm trying. You guys, Faith is literally my middle name. I love that. I'm trying, and I hope that I hope and I wish such good things for you. I really do. Roy, what are you doing up this late? Thank you very much for your birthday wishes. Everybody, thank you so much for your birthday wishes. I appreciate it. And this is where I sign off. And I'll be popping into Johnny's chat probably in the morning because I like that game that he plays on Fridays. But until then, just know that I'm glad I got to celebrate my birthday with you guys. And I'm glad I got to kick off my weekend of spoiling myself. And I hope that all of you do have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. I know I plan to. And I'm going to wrap myself around around all of the love that is coming my way and absorb it and take it in with gratitude. So whether it is your birthday or whether you're just whether you're just a shorty, go shorty. It's my birthday. Whether it's your birthday or not, and whether you are on the journey or just starting or finishing up a part of your journey where it is is rough, or whether you are sitting on your back deck enjoying a hard apple cider and watching the sunset, no matter what you're doing and no matter where you go, please don't ever forget. Please don't ever forget. Glamma loves you. I'll see you later. Bye.